So the NRM policies haven't failed as Honorable Akena would want the world to see. Because if we had done so, we would not be having close to 10 million children in school at the different stages. Our human resource, the children who are graduating out of medical school today, are still as marketable as they were in the 60s, in the 70s. The only issue is today we are graduating many more people than our own, than before, but also than our own capacity can absorb. And so, in that reference, Chankwanzi is a good place for us to reflect. We were told by the clerk to Parliament.
There's public perception about
No, I'm coming. The clerk to Parliament told us that overall, 58% of members of Parliament didn't make it back. The ones in the 11th Parliament, include the ones who failed elections. Now, leave the ones who did not, who opted not to stand. They were eyeing bigger things and it missed them. In NRM, out of 365, only 156, I think, returned. Meaning that a bigger group of the NRM MPs who were in Chankwanzi and the independents now allied to us are overwhelming the ones who the old ones. It therefore becomes necessary to have some form of interface, regardless whether you think that those MPs have no capacity to absorb. But I want to believe that any exposure helps somebody improve. I don't think Honorable Ssemujju, my former newspaper man, with me, has remained the same, a newsman, just writing what Ken Richards was saying, you know. Ssemujju now is among the top-notch members of Parliament. Yes, so Honorable Ssemujju, you have improved. I don't think you have remained the same. So I don't even understand why you think that a councillor cannot raise. In other case, some of those councillors have the same academic qualification. Okay.
At one moment, now, you were a tutor at Chankwanzi.
Yes, and
today you were in the room.
Yeah, it is good for a professor to come to a discussion, a seminar, and just pays attention, like what the Honorable Dombo was telling you. I teach in Chankwanzi up to now, but in this retreat, I was called as a student. I listened, and I can tell you, I did not go to the podium to ask questions, but I was taking notes.
Yeah, but is there anything to get you rolling in the
Yes, I told you that there are many things also I didn't know. Because when you listen to people, different people, you cannot say you're the only one who knows. For example, I had never met those many members of Parliament, and being part of them, it has taught me something. That, for example, you need to show humility. I was meeting a 24-year-old medical student, medical professor, Dr. Lakisa from Lebtong. 24-year-old, she has just come out of, she's a dentist. She has just come out of school. She's now there. I met another one from Vura, a young girl of 24, who took on 8 men and defeated them. Now, you sit with them and you get to understand what drove them. When I was entering politics, I wasn't 24, I was a little older. Now, you get to understand what drove these many young people to national politics.
How shameful was it watching your colleagues making personal pleas to the president?
That's what you expect. For example, getting to know what drives an 84-year-old person who has lived it, Professor Kamuntu. Professor Kamuntu ran for Member of Parliament in 1980. He was the minister, ambassador plenipotentiary. Returning, since NRM came, I think he came in 1996, 2005. He has been in Parliament, has been minister in many decades. He lost election 5 years ago, comes back. Dr. Kiyonga lost the election 10 years ago. This was the only MP who was elected on the UPDM ticket, although he didn't take his seat, 1980. He has been a member of parliament and minister since 1986. He lost the election and still has the courage, the drive to come back to run for member of parliament. Is the chancellor of Makerere University. It is nice to see, to sit with him and see what drives, to study his inner person, what drives him, and the perspective of different people. So yes, I'm a lecturer there, I teach there, but you get to learn. But most importantly, what Dombo said, that it was a good thing for us. It is important for us just to know who is this person. In my case, who is well known across the country. Many people will come and say, I have just been watching you on TV. In my village there in Maracha, we are just watching you on TV. So you are the one. I want to touch your hand. You know, things like those. Is part of the things that give us the bonding. And that bonding is part of the cohesion, is part of the ideological mentoring, is part of, listen, is part of the strategy. I need to bring in, it's part of the strategy. Dombo, yes. Because NRM was there for those three things.
Thank you. Honorable Dombo. Yes. I saw a bit of a contradiction. Here is the president telling MPs to avoid loan sharks, to avoid corruption, and then he doles out 100 million to every MP. That has widely been described as a bribe to MPs.
Bribe to do what?
To tow his path.
You know, take it or leave it. President Museveni is the chief executive of this country. And he's in charge of the internal resources. And some people who don't know him, when we first interacted with President Museveni about the indebtedness of members of parliament, I was a commissioner in parliament. And at that time, members had borrowed money at variable interest rates. At that time, we had not even negotiated with banks to fix. Now banks have got a fixed rate when they are lending members of parliament. And the rates varied to above 30%. And the money that was being deducted from members of parliament was a lot of money. So somebody, an investor in quotes, came and said, made a proposition he wanted to buy the loans of the members of parliament so that he services them over a period of time. And we had a discussion in the commission under the chairperson of the Right Honorable Kadaga, until we said, but even when this sounds very attractive, we chose to share it with His Excellency the President. We thought it would be very unpatriotic to enter into such a deal with a foreigner when the head of state doesn't know, because it may have security ramifications. And indeed, when we discussed with the President, he rubbished it right away. He actually quoted a Kinyankole proverb, which says that you cannot borrow a neighbor's hand to clean your bums when you go to poo-poo. That's the proverb he told us. He said, now if a foreigner bails members of parliament out, to whom will they pay allegiance? And what will it be for the country? And
so was the president purchasing allegiance this time?
No. I just want to give you this background to show that he's a man who understands what is happening. He's already aware that banks have started offering members of parliament. There could have been members of parliament who have even picked already some money from the banks and was saying, watch out, don't do this. He was very specific on the instructions he gave. He wouldn't wish to see them going back to him, that they don't have money, they have just come out of elections, and they have challenges. When I was commissioner, they already...
So ideally, wouldn't that be done pro rata? Wouldn't it be prudent?
That's what I'm telling you, that when I was commissioner, we did it for all members of parliament. And I was very disappointed when Honorable Ofwono Ogutu, the following day, after I had come from Chankwanzi, he called a press conference and said his members of parliament from the opposition, because it was the law, were not going to sign for that money. And they rebelled, most of them. They went and picked the money because they were equally hardened up. And to me, I was very disappointed. Actually, I met him and said, when we negotiated and requested the president's intervention, we talked for the entire parliament because the commission is a commission for the whole parliament. Now, when the president accepted, the opposition chose to behave the way they did. The president is available, and if there is an opportunity that he can use part of the public resources to save the image of the people who are going to be in charge of the affairs of this country, so be it, because he has done it in the religious institutions, he has done it with the political parties. Actually, this money you see political parties receiving, the president told us he went to a church in Nikazo and he saw members making offer to raise, and he said religious institutions are bad law. We must begin supporting religious institutions and local political parties so that we tame the ideology.
Honorable Dombo, 100 million times 390 MPs.
Simon, ask a member of parliament here, how much money does he get? You are talking about the 20 million.
Quick math. Honorable,
you are talking,
how much would that be?
Just a moment, Simon.
That's about 40 billion.
40 billion.
Simon, you are talking about 20 million, which the members of parliament have already received. Because I saw them receiving the 20 million. Because the president,
no, it's 100 million.
It is 20 million which the president has paid. And he said he will add them 80 when the money becomes available.
For swearing in.
When he gets the money. So the 20 million, that money has been paid. Each of these members of parliament earns more than 40 million a month. So you are talking about, it has been proven, I've been to parliament, and they have made revisions. Such members of parliament who are earning more than 40 million shillings
Honorable Dombo,
a month. Now you want to talk about
40 billion shillings.
You are talking about 20 million.
As token for MPs.
No,
see, Dombo,
take
Dombo makes even the matter worse. You're saying they are earning 40 million. Why do you give them another 100 if you're already paying them very well?
Because those ones who are being paid is you who is getting out. These are new members of parliament. They have not been sworn in. They are already in debt.
Next month.
And the gesture of the president, it will be next month.
Yes.
But he gave them before, and they are not earning anything. And that is what the president said. Would that be a problem?
What's the rationale again for this money?
The president, Simon, you are talking as if you are breaking news. The president was live on 10 televisions in the country and radio stations, which he had paid for. Live broadcast. And secondly, he had hosted members of parliament who had, through their interactions throughout the retreat, but also through experience at the head of state, had observed that these members of parliament enter into debt because of the challenges that they go through. In order to try and prevent that, the president said, in order to enable you to go and arrange proper swearing-in ceremony, let me make a contribution. And he announced
that's a bit scandalous.
But,
and he announced it. How scandalous is it?
I mean,
see, Dombo,
40 billion of taxpayers' money is going into lavish expenditure for MPs to cater for their swearing in.
Because the money they voted for it. To do exactly that. Members of parliament.
That money, nobody voted for it.
Why?
It is not there.
No, it's the donations that you voted.
We'll be back after the break.
The donation.